In a dimly lit luxury boutique in Beverly Hills, where price tags whisper wealth and security cameras blink like silent witnesses, what started as a simple request for baby oil erupted into a scandal that would expose the ugly underbelly of American retail. If you've ever wondered how the rich and famous handle raw discrimination, this story will leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about privilege and prejudice. Don't forget to subscribe to witness more untold stories of confrontation and courage. The Radiant Beauty Supply store on Rodeo Drive was known for its pristine aisles and exclusive clientele. On this particular Sunday afternoon, the store's usual tranquility was about to be shattered in ways no one could predict. Sean Diddy Combs, dressed in a tailored black suit that probably cost more than most people's monthly rent, stepped through the automated glass doors. The security system chimed softly, announcing his presence to the meticulously groomed staff. If you're feeling the tension building, hit that like button. Trust me, you'll want to see where this goes. Behind the premium cosmetics counter, Jessica Martinez scrolled through her phone, while her colleagues, Brad Thompson and Karen Williams, huddled near the luxury skincare section, their whispers barely audible over the store's ambient music. The air was thick with designer fragrances and unspoken prejudices. "I need some baby oil," Diddy stated, his voice carrying the confidence of a man who'd built an empire from scratch. "The premium kind." The words hung in the air like smoke, meeting only silence and stares. Karen, her blonde hair pulled back in a tight bun that matched her rigid posture, exchanged knowing looks with Brad. Their smirk spoke volumes before any words were uttered. The recent headlines about Diddy's alleged connections to baby oil had been splashed across every tabloid in America. "Sir," Karen began, her voice dripping with false politeness, "I'm afraid we're all out of baby oil today." Her lips curved into what might have been a smile, but never reached her eyes. Brad snickered behind a display of $500 face creams. The security guard, Mike Peterson, moved closer, his hand resting unnecessarily on his belt. The fluorescent lights overhead seemed to buzz louder, casting harsh shadows across the scene. Before we continue, take a moment to hit that subscribe button. Stories like these need to be shared, and you won't want to miss what happens next. Diddy's expression remained unchanged, but his eyes, those eyes that had witnessed decades of industry discrimination, hardened slightly. "All out?" he repeated, gesturing to the clearly visible shelf of premium oils behind the counter. "Those bottles right there tell a different story." Karen's artificial smile tightened. "Those are reserved for our regular customers." She emphasized the word regular like it was a password to an exclusive club, one where Diddy, despite his billions, apparently didn't qualify for membership. The store's other customers began to take notice. A young influencer lowered her phone, her Instagram story forgotten, as she witnessed real drama unfold. An elderly woman clutched her designer purse closer, while a teenage employee restocking shelves froze mid-motion. Regular customers? Diddy's voice carried the weight of countless similar encounters, years of breaking down barriers in boardrooms and backstage areas. Let me tell you something about regular. If you're feeling the weight of this moment, drop a heart in the comments. This story is about to take a turn that nobody saw coming. The tension in the air was palpable as Diddy reached into his jacket pocket. Karen flinched dramatically, while Brad took a step back. The security guard's hand tightened on his belt. But what Diddy pulled out wasn't what they expected. It was a magazine, Forbes, to be precise, with his face on the cover. "You see this?" he asked, his voice steady, but carrying an edge that could cut through diamonds. "This is what regular looks like where I'm from." The magazine cover showed Diddy's empire, Bad Boy Entertainment, Ciroc, Sean John, and countless other ventures that had redefined industry standards. But today, in this store, he was just another black man asking for baby oil. "Sir," Brad interjected, his voice carrying that particular tone of condescension reserved for customers he deemed unworthy. "Perhaps you'd be more comfortable shopping elsewhere?" The suggestion hung in the air like a threat. The growing crowd of onlookers held their breath. If you're invested in this story, make sure to hit that notification bell, because what happens next will challenge everything you think you know about power, privilege, and persistence. Diddy's response would not only change the atmosphere in that store, but would spark a conversation that would echo through social media, boardrooms, and dinner tables across America. But before we reveal his next moves, let's take a moment to understand the weight of this confrontation. In the world of luxury retail, where money is supposed to be the great equalizer, Diddy's presence represented something more. His request for baby oil, a simple product that had recently become loaded with controversy, was about to become a catalyst for a larger conversation about prejudice, power, and the persistence of bias in American society. If you're just joining us, you're about to witness how a simple request for baby oil turned into a defining moment in retail history. Hit that subscribe button. You won't want to miss what happens next. The tension in Radiant Beauty Supply had reached a fever pitch. The store's premium marble floors reflected the scene like a dark mirror, as Diddy stood his ground against the wall of prejudice before him. "Let me break something down for you," Diddy began, his voice carrying the calm authority that had negotiated billion-dollar deals. "You think this is about baby oil? This is about something much deeper." Karen's perfectly manicured nails drummed against the counter while Brad's smirk began to fade. The security guard, Mike, shifted uncomfortably, suddenly aware that his body camera was recording everything. "You see, I've been using baby oil since before I had my first record deal," Diddy continued, his voice carrying through the store like a sermon. "Back when I was interning at Uptown Records, sleeping on subway cars, that $2 bottle of baby oil was my luxury skincare routine. If this story resonates with you, give it a thumbs up." These are the moments that expose the truth about everyday discrimination. "Every morning, I'd polish my shoes with it, keep my skin moisturized, make sure I look professional despite not having designer clothes," he explained. "That bottle of baby oil represented dignity when I couldn't afford anything else." The store's atmosphere shifted. A young black employee, James Wilson, who had been arranging perfume bottles, stopped pretending to work and listened intently. His own experiences reflected in his eyes as Diddy spoke. "Now you're standing here," Diddy continued, "trying to twist something pure into something dirty. Making jokes, spreading rumors, acting like you're better than me despite my black card having no limit." Brad's face flushed red. "Sir, we've seen the headlines," he started, but Diddy cut him off with a raised hand. "The headlines?" Diddy's laugh carried no humor. "Let's talk about headlines. How about the headline where I employed thousands of people? Or built a fashion empire that broke racial barriers? Or maybe the one where I helped launch careers that changed the music industry forever?" Drop a microphone in the comments if you're feeling this truth bomb. The story's about to get even more intense. The store's background music seemed to fade away, as if even the speakers knew this was a moment that needed to be heard. A crowd had gathered outside the store windows, phones recording what was quickly becoming a viral moment. "You think denying me baby oil is about protecting your store's reputation?" Diddy's voice carried decades of frustrated excellence. "While you're standing here making assumptions, I'm building schools in Harlem. While you're snickering behind counters, I'm creating opportunities for kids who look like I used to look." Karen's superior expression cracked slightly. The magazine cover still lay on the counter between them, Diddy's success staring back at their prejudice. A senior citizen, Mrs. Patricia Thompson, who had been quietly observing, stepped forward. "I remember when my son couldn't shop in stores like this," she said, her voice shaking with emotion. "Some things haven't changed as much as we pretend they have." Hit that notification bell if you believe in the power of speaking truth to prejudice. "You want to know why I really need baby oil?" Diddy asked, pulling out his phone. He pulled up a photo of his childhood home. "This was where I grew up. My mother worked 4 jobs, and you know what she taught me? Presentation matters. Pride matters. Taking care of yourself matters." The photo showed a modest apartment in Harlem, a far cry from his current mansion, but clean and polished with the same dignity he carried today. "Every morning, she'd make sure I left that house looking immaculate. Baby oil on my skin, shoes shined, clothes pressed, even if they were hand-me-downs. Because she knew in this world, a black man has to work twice as hard to get half as far." The store's atmosphere had transformed. Even the security guard had stepped back, his earlier aggression replaced by something that looked like shame. If you're feeling this story in your soul, share it with someone who needs to hear it. So when you stand there making jokes about baby oil, trying to humiliate me with tabloid gossip, you're not just disrespecting me, Diddy continued. You're disrespecting every parent who taught their child to hold their head high in a world that wants to bring them low. James, the young employee, had tears in his eyes, his own bottle of baby oil, hidden in his locker for after work grooming, suddenly felt like a symbol of something bigger. And let me tell you something about these headlines you're so focused on. Diddy's voice took on a steel edge. When you're a black man in America, success makes you a target. Every move is scrutinized, every choice questioned, every product you request suddenly becomes a scandal waiting to happen. The growing crowd outside pressed against the windows, their phones capturing what was quickly becoming a masterclass in handling discrimination with dignity. Before we continue with what happens next, take a moment to reflect. How many times have we witnessed or experienced similar prejudices in our daily lives? Share your stories in the comments below. Karen's hands had stopped their nervous drumming. Brad's smirk had completely vanished. The security guard's hand had finally left his belt. So here's what's going to happen, Diddy stated, his voice now carrying the quiet authority that had built empires. You're going to sell me that baby oil, not because I'm P Diddy, not because I'm on magazine covers, but because I'm a customer in your store asking to make a purchase. The silence that followed was deafening. The weight of history, prejudice, and possibility hung in the air like heavy perfume. The standoff at Radiant Beauty Supply had drawn a crowd that spilled onto Rodeo Drive. Through the store's pristine windows, passersby pressed their phones against the glass, live streaming what had become more than just a dispute over baby oil. It was now a moment of reckoning. Here's what's fascinating, Diddy continued, his voice carrying the weight of experience. You're so quick to judge, so ready to believe the worst, but let me show you something. He pulled out his phone again, this time opening his business portfolio app. If this story is opening your eyes, drop a light bulb in the comments. See this? He turned the screen toward Karen and Brad. That's the annual revenue of my beauty investments. That's how many black entrepreneurs I've helped fund. That's how many jobs I've created in this industry. The very industry where you stand judging me. The numbers on the screen made Karen's eyes widen. Brad's face had lost all trace of its earlier condescension. But you know what's even more interesting? Diddy's voice took on a teacher's tone. While you're here making assumptions about baby oil, my foundation just opened its 5th beauty school in underserved communities. We're teaching young people the very trade you're gatekeeping. The store's atmosphere had shifted dramatically. The security guard, Mike, had removed his hand from his belt entirely and was now looking at the floor, his face a mask of shame. Hit that notification bell if you believe in the power of education and understanding. Let me tell you a story about baby oil, Diddy continued, his voice softening slightly. When I was starting Bad Boy Records, I had meetings with executives who wouldn't give me the time of day. But every morning, I'd shine my shoes with baby oil, moisturize my skin, make sure every detail was perfect. Because I knew they were looking for any reason to dismiss me. James, the young employee, had moved closer, abandoning any pretense of working. His own dreams of entrepreneurship reflected in his eyes as Diddy spoke. That bottle of baby oil represented something bigger than skincare. It was about dignity, about presenting yourself to a world that's ready to tear you down, about maintaining your self-respect when others try to strip it away. If this message resonates with you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. The crowd outside had grown larger. Social media was already exploding with clips and commentary. Hashtag Diddy versus discrimination was trending. You see these people? Diddy gestured to the crowd outside. They're not here for the drama. They're here because what's happening right now is something they've experienced themselves. Maybe not in a luxury store, maybe not over baby oil, but they know what it feels like to be judged before they even open their mouth. Karen's perfectly maintained facade had cracked completely. Her hands trembled as she reached for the baby oil on the shelf behind her. But wait, Diddy raised his hand. Before you sell me that bottle, I want you to understand something. This moment, it's bigger than me. It's bigger than baby oil. It's about every person who's ever been made to feel less than human while trying to make a simple purchase. Don't forget to like and share if you believe in the power of standing up against discrimination. The store manager, Mr. Richardson, had finally emerged from his office, drawn by the commotion. His face paled as he took in the scene, the crowd, the cameras, the viral moment unfolding in his establishment. Mr. Combs, he started, his voice carrying forced politeness. Please let me handle this personally, dash. No need, Diddy interrupted smoothly. Your staff has already handled it. They've shown exactly what needs to change in this industry, in this country. The silence that followed was profound. Even the store's ambient music seemed to have stopped, as if technology itself was holding its breath. So here's what we're going to do, Diddy announced, his voice carrying the authority of someone used to reshaping narratives. I'm going to buy this baby oil, but I'm also going to buy one for every employee in this store. The unexpected turn caused murmurs among the onlookers. If you're surprised by this twist, hit that like button. Because everyone deserves to shine, he continued. Everyone deserves to feel elegant, dignified, worthy. Even those who tried to deny that dignity to others. James, the young employee, stepped forward. Mr. Combs, he said, his voice slightly shaky. I use baby oil too, every day, just like my father taught me. The moment between them spoke volumes. Two generations connected by more than just a beauty product, but by the shared experience of maintaining dignity in the face of prejudice. And you know what else? Diddy turned back to Karen and Brad. I'm going to do something else. I'm announcing a new initiative right here, right now. If you believe in turning moments of discrimination into opportunities for change, make sure you're subscribed for what comes next. Starting today, my foundation is launching a retail diversity training program. And guess what? Radiant Beauty Supply is going to be our first participant. He looked directly at Mr. Richardson, free of charge. Consider it my contribution to progress. The manager's relief was palpable. The potential PR nightmare was transforming into an opportunity for positive change. Because this isn't about punishment, Diddy clarified. It's about growth, about understanding, about doing better. The energy in the store had transformed completely. What had started as a moment of discrimination had evolved into a masterclass in turning prejudice into progress. So, Karen, Diddy said, his voice gentle but firm, I'll take that baby oil now. All of it. And let's make sure the next customer who walks through that door, regardless of who they are, feels nothing but welcome. The transaction that followed was more than just a purchase. It was a moment of transformation, captured on hundreds of phones, soon to be shared thousands of times. As Diddy left the store, each bottle of baby oil distributed to staff members like olive branches, the crowd outside erupted in applause. But he wasn't done. Remember this day. He addressed the crowd and the cameras, not because of what went wrong, but because of what we're going to make right. The aftermath was immediate and far-reaching. Hashtag Dignity for All started trending. The store's diversity training program became a model for retail establishments nationwide. And baby oil, it became a symbol of something much bigger than skincare. 1 month later, Radiant Beauty Supply had transformed. New signs reading, "All are welcome," adorned the windows. The staff had completed their first round of diversity training. And sales of baby oil? They'd never been higher. But the real change was in the small moments. The way Karen now greeted every customer with genuine warmth. How Brad had started mentoring inner-city youth interested in retail careers. The way James had been promoted to assistant manager. If this story moved you, be part of the change. Like, subscribe, and share this video. Follow our channel for more stories of transformation and triumph. Remember, sometimes the smallest moments create the biggest changes. A bottle of baby oil might just change the world. Drop a comment below. What everyday items hold special meaning in your journey? How have you handled discrimination with dignity? Your story matters. And don't forget to hit that notification bell, because change happens one story at a time, and you won't want to miss what comes next. Together, we can make every space a place where dignity isn't just sold, it's celebrated.